Gaming Bolt presents 15 easiest bosses in the entire Soulsborne series. The Soulsborne series is often held up as the standard for difficulty in video games. From Demon's Souls to Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, From Software has delivered some of the toughest scenarios and boss fights imaginable. However, not every boss is an epic battle. Some of them seem to have trouble just walking towards you. Let's take a look at the 15 easiest bosses in the entire Soulsborne series. Please note that this list is in random order and is not ranked. Deacons of the Deep, Dark Souls 3. Behold, a boss fight trope you've seen too many times in From Software titles. A mob of enemies with the real boss somewhere in between. Where could he be? Oh wait, it's the glowing enemy every time. Just kill that. Deacons of the Deep looks cool, and to be fair, one can get careless and suddenly ganged up on by multiple foes, but even with the threat of curses, it's not hard to just ambush the boss and keep going. Adjuticator, Demon's Souls. How do you best want to deal with the Adjuticator? Perhaps from afar with arrows, trivializing this entire fight. Then again, even if it knocks you down to its level, probably hitting some of its massively damaging blows, there's nothing stopping you from just walking around it. Each of the Adjudicator's cleavers has a long wind-up, so they're pretty easy to dodge and punish. Prowling Magus and Congregation, Dark Souls 2. Well, look, a few regular enemies around a main boss. We haven't seen this strategy before. Unlike Deacons of the Deep, there's no twist with the Prowling Magus and Congregation. The latter will attempt to swarm you. Don't let them. Take out the ranks one by one, then kill the Prowling Magus. That's the fight. We wish there was a better punchline for it. Witches of HEMWICK-BLOODBORNE. Admittedly, this doesn't fit into the From Software boss trope, but it's pretty close. Eliminating one witch will bring a revelation. There are actually two Witches of HEMWICK. Combined with a few mad ones, the odd magic spell from the witches and the first witch regaining some health, things can seem dicey in Phase 2. However, just run around, find the witches, and smack them. That's pretty much all there is to this fight. Want to make it even easier? Enter with 0 insight. There won't be any mad ones to deal with. Taurus Demon, Dark Souls. The Taurus Demon appears as the first real boss in Dark Souls and is pretty darn imposing. The constructed nature of the walkway makes things all the more challenging. That is, until you scale the ladder next to the walkway's entrance and perform a plunging attack for massive damage. While it may not outright kill the boss, simply make your way towards the opposite side, loop around, avoiding its swings in the meantime, and go for another plunging attack. Easy peasy. Asylum Demon, Dark Souls. Okay, so the Asylum Demon is technically the first boss of Dark Souls, and the player encounters it without any armor or weapons, making the fight seem more hopeless. That is until returning later. The real fight with the Asylum Demon provides a free plunging attack opportunity, whittling its health down massively to start things off. From there, it's just a few swings away from death. Yhorm the Giant, Dark Souls 3. Stylistically, Yhorm the Giant looks pretty cool. He deals massive damage, albeit in predictable attacks, and is fairly beefy. However, the real key to this fight is Storm Ruler, which lays near Yhorm's throne. Pick it up, charge it, and then hit Yhorm. Marvel as his health bar decreases. A few more charge slashes are required, but the bigger they are, well, you get the drift. Mikulash, Bloodborne. Touted by many as one of the most annoying bosses in Bloodborne, Mikulash is an interesting fight. The lore he spouts is interesting, his mechanics, though, not so much. Mikulash essentially runs away, seeking shelter in a single room where you may beat on him mercilessly. He then runs again, this time into a slightly trickier room to reach. Once you get there, just beat on him some more. The only real threat is when he uses a Call Beyond to potentially one-hit kill you. The solution? Stay close and beat on him. Yep. Ancient Wyvern, Dark Souls 3. Located on Archdragon Peak, the Ancient Wyvern is the famous one-shot plunging attack boss you all know and love. The only real challenge is getting to the coveted spot for the attack. Though it seems like the toughest part of this fight, it really isn't. Even if you try and kill any annoying man-serpent hybrids en route, you'll still be in prime position to slay the boss. Just don't miss the plunging attack, okay? Celestial Emissary, Bloodborne. A few regular enemies with the main boss hiding somewhere? Is this Dark Souls? But seriously, the Celestial Emissary is sort of better than Deacons of the Deep in that there's no visual indicator for the enemy that you have to hit. Also, deal enough damage and the boss will emerge in its true giant form. The only problem is the regular enemies have the intelligence of slugs, while the boss is easy to avoid and massively damage. Oh well. Royal Rat Vanguard, Dark Souls 2. And we once again come to a main boss hiding among a few regular enemies. The Royal Rat Vanguard at least throws a bunch of rats at you while only looking slightly different. Plus they all cause petrification buildup, with the Royal Rat Vanguard dealing heavy poison buildup damage. Otherwise, you know the oh-so-easy drill. Covetous Demon, Dark Souls 2. What do you do against a giant slug-like demon that's just flopping around? Well, hit it, and then hit it again, and continue until it's dead. You could be forgiven for thinking Dark Souls 2 has nuanced combat with the Covetous Demon around. Due to its massive girth, its sole means of attack is to slam down, either with its face or tail, and hopefully hurt you. Failing means it will embarrassingly shuffle around. This is not exactly an inspiring fight to behold. Moonlight Butterfly, Dark Souls. If you thought fighting a giant slug was boring, then the next question arises. What do you do against a floating butterfly that seemingly never lands? Moonlight Butterfly throws some easy-to-dodge spells at the player and just sort of flies around, enjoying life. It lands after what seems like years, thus letting you deal damage. For the sake of your sanity, go ahead and finish it off in one cycle. Pinwheel, Dark Souls. One of the more laughable bosses in Souls history is the Pinwheel. It looks curious with its three faces and suitably sly demeanor. Then it hops, creates clones, and shoots some lame magic. And that's kind of it, we suppose. Really, the only thing sadder about Pinwheel is just how boring the fight is in general. True King ALLANT, Demon Souls. All that cinematic build-up and hype, all of that tension, and this is True King ALLANT. No, seriously, load up a chalice dungeon in the sewers in Bloodborne, find a blood gel, kill it. That's True King ALLANT, but with more health and somehow less attacks. There is nothing challenging about this fight. Stab, 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 backstep, repeat. It'd be one thing if this was a regular boss, but this is the final boss of Demon Souls. And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.